This is the Alpha, the newest addition to the GWM Cannon Ute lineup. The big news about this ute is the fact that a full hybrid version is being offered in Australia for the very first time. The other big news about this ute is the fact that it has a new to the lineup 2.4 litre turbo diesel engine. The other big news about this ute is the fact that it is bigger than a standard Cannon. It's bigger than a Hilux, bigger than a D-Max, just as big as a Ford Ranger, but not quite as big as a US style pickup at this stage. So is it any good off-road? Well, that's what we're here to find out, so stick around. The Cannon Alpha has two diesel variants, the Lux and the Ultra, or you can opt for the petrol hybrid Ultra. Our test vehicle is the Lux spec, and that's available for just under $52,000 drive away. The Ultra diesel is available for just under $58,000, and the petrol hybrid Ultra is available for just under $65,000. Standard features inside the Lux, which is the entry spec variant of the Alpha range, include this 12.3-inch multimedia touchscreen, and that has wired and wireless Apple CarPlay, as well as wired Android Auto. It also has an around view camera, a stack of driving modes, and a rear diff lock. Exterior paint choices include the standard marble white, and that comes at no extra cost. Metallic paint choices include red, grey, silver and black, and they each cost $595. For even more details, make sure you read my full written review at carsguide.com.au. In terms of design, everything about the Alpha is big. It's just a big ute. Big wheel arches, big side steps, a big tub, and what's also big, and I just can't get used to it, is this big toilet seat looking logo on the front. It's just not for me. The Lux is the entry spec ute in the Alpha lineup, but it does have a real premium feel about it. There's nice soft touch surfaces, this wood grain strip across the dash here, and while the seats are synthetic leather, they are comfortable, and it's the same story in the back. Nice and comfortable, plenty of room. All in all, it's a decent cabin. For load area flexibility, you are pretty well sorted with the tub in the Alpha, because this is a decent sized space, and that tub liner seems really robust, and you have 4 sturdy tight end points. There is no power socket back here. While I'm here though, we're talking about the business end of a ute, it's good to mention that unbraked towing capacity is 750 kilograms, brake towing capacity is the standard for the segment, 3,500 kilograms. This Alpha has the new 2.4 litre turbo diesel 4-cylinder engine, and that produces 135 kilowatts and 480 newton meters. That's matched to a 9-speed automatic transmission. It also has a dual range transfer case with high and low range gearing and a rear diff lock. On road, the Alpha is a nice surprise, because being a long wheelbase ute, it is composed and controlled, and it feels nicely settled, and the same goes for when it's on fast dirt. During low range four-wheel driving, however, it is somewhat compromised because of that long wheelbase, and the driver assist tech just is not agreeing with me. The off-road traction control system is really intrusive and preemptive. It does work, it's quite effective, but it bites when it really shouldn't, and it kind of works in a counterintuitive fashion. Having said that though, low range gearing is pretty decent, and it does have that rear diff lock to call on when you really need to. The tyres aren't so great, they're sort of standard SUV tyres, but you can easily swap those out for a set of all-terrains. The off-road angles are pretty good. Again, for a long wheelbase ute, you are compromised in the middle there in your ramp over angle, because it does have that stretched wheelbase. But you just have to drive with a bit more consideration, just be a little bit more careful and take your time perhaps a little bit more than you would in a vehicle that has a shorter wheelbase. But that's the same with anything of this size. Apart from that, everything else pretty much checks out in a low key but not spectacular way. Engine braking is pretty good, all the mechanicals are pretty sound, and it works pretty well. That driver assist tech again is a little bit too intrusive for my liking, but you may well be able to cope with it. Official fuel consumption for the diesel Alpha is 8.9 litres per 100 kilometres, and that's on a combined cycle. On this test I recorded 10.2 litres per 100 kilometres, but I did do a fair bit of low range four-wheel driving. The Alpha has a 78 litre fuel tank, so going by my on-test fuel figures, you could reasonably expect a driving range of about 765 kilometres, and that's out of a full tank. The Cannon Alpha doesn't have an ANCAP safety rating because it hasn't been tested yet. Standard safety gear on board includes 7 airbags, AEB, adaptive cruise control, and a 360-degree around view monitor. For even more details, make sure you read my full written review at carsguide.com.au. The Cannon Alpha is covered by a 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty, and if you do buy one, you also get 7 years of roadside assistance and 7 years of cap price servicing. Details of that servicing were not available at time of filming, but keep your eye on carsguide.com.au for up-to-date information. The Cannon Alpha is a big ute with a big job ahead of it if it is to take on the top utes in Australia. It offers enough in terms of comfort, equipment and capability to represent a decent bang for your buck alternative to utes like the D-Max and the Hilux and the Ranger. But what do you reckon? Have your say in the comments section below, and make sure you read my full written review at carsguide.com.au.